Some stories are true because they're facts. You can find them in police reports, newspaper archives, and eyewitness accounts. But then there are other stories, the ones that are true because they perfectly capture the asterisk spirit of a person. They become legends. And these legends, whether you can prove them or not, often tell a much deeper truth about an icon. This is one of those stories. You won't find this tale in any official biography. You wouldn't have seen it on the evening news back in 1971. There are no dusty police records to confirm the details. And yet, the story not only survives, it thrives. It spreads through forums and late-night conversations, a piece of modern folklore that has captivated millions. It's a story about Bruce Lee, and it puts him in the middle of a nightmare scenario, a violent, armed bank robbery. What makes this legend so powerful, so believable, is that every supposed action, every single word, aligns perfectly with the man the world knew. Not just the movie star, but the philosopher, the martial artist, and a man of impossible calm in the face of chaos. The year is 1971. The place, a bustling bank in Hong Kong. Suddenly the peace is shattered. Shouting, alarms, panic. In the middle of it all, a robber presses the cold steel of a shotgun to a man's forehead and snarls, "Get down or I'll blow your head off." He has seconds to react. That man is Bruce Lee. And this is the story of how he allegedly disarmed 4 gunmen and saved 14 lives without throwing a single punch in anger. Now, before we dive into the chaos of that afternoon, we have to talk about why this particular myth took hold so strongly. Because let's be clear, by all credible accounts, the story of the bank robbery is an urban legend. There are no newspaper clippings, no public police records, and maybe most telling of all, Bruce Lee never mentioned it in his own extensive writings or interviews. So why are we telling it? Because the legend itself is a key to understanding the insane impact Bruce Lee had on the world. The story survives not because of evidence, but because it just feels more true than any simple fact. It shows his entire philosophy in action. Let's rewind to the real Bruce Lee of 1971. This was a huge year for him. He just returned to his home of Hong Kong after a frustrating time in Hollywood. In America, he was Kato from the Green Hornet asterisk, a cool sidekick, but a sidekick nonetheless. He was denied the leading roles he knew he deserved because studio execs just couldn't imagine a Chinese man as a leading star. So he came back to Hong Kong, a man on a mission. He wasn't yet the global icon he would become. That was about to happen. In October of 1971, his first Hong Kong martial arts film, The Big Boss Asterisk, was set to be released. It would go on to shatter every box office record, launching him into a stratosphere of fame nobody thought possible. In the weeks before that movie dropped, Bruce Lee was a coiled spring. He was training non-stop, refining his revolutionary art of Jeet Kune Do, and preparing for the stardom he felt was his destiny. This was a man with supreme confidence, born not from arrogance but from relentless preparation. He was walking the streets of Hong Kong not as a celebrity, but as a man on the verge of changing the world. And it's right here that the legend drops him into an ordinary day that was about to become anything but. The legend paints a vivid picture. It's a normal Friday afternoon in Hong Kong's Central District. Inside the cool, marble-floored mid-city bank, everything is calm. You hear the soft clinking of coins, the hum of air conditioning, the quiet murmur of customers and tellers. The story says there are about 14 people inside, each lost in their own world. Through the doors walks Bruce Lee. He's not the icon from the posters. According to the tale, he's just another businessman in a well-tailored suit. He's there for a simple reason: to make a deposit before a meeting. He gets in line, just another face in the crowd. This setup is critical. It builds a world of total normalcy. He isn't there looking for a fight, he's just a man going about his day. But he's also Bruce Lee. His senses are always on, a lifelong habit. He'd naturally note the exits, the number of people, the guards' posture, not out of paranoia, but from a state of total awareness that was central to his philosophy. It's the calm before the storm, a quiet moment that's about to be violently shattered. At the peak of this afternoon lull, the peace is obliterated. The heavy glass doors of the bank burst open. 4 men spill into the room, faces twisted with aggression and adrenaline. They're armed, desperate, and dangerous. Panic erupts, a collective gasp turns into screams. The quiet bank becomes a whirlwind of harsh, guttural shouts. Everybody on the floor, now. People drop to the cold marble, hands over their heads, a trembling mass of hostages. The security guard is taken by surprise and struck down before he can even react. The robbers move with brutal efficiency, their goal to establish total dominance through fear. The leader, wielding a shotgun, takes center stage. He is the focal point of the violence, barking orders at his men to vault the counters and stuff cash into bags. The world has been turned upside down. For the 14 hostages on the floor, the only thing that matters is survival. But as the legend goes, one man isn't on the floor. While every survival instinct tells the hostages to stay down, Bruce Lee remains standing. This isn't reckless bravado, it's an act of profound stillness. In this moment of pure chaos, he becomes the calm eye of the storm. For him, panic is a choice, an indulgence he can't afford. His defiance instantly draws the fury of the leader. The gunman stomps over and shoves the heavy barrel of the shotgun right against Bruce Lee's forehead. And then comes the line, snarled with rage, "I told you to get on the ground. Are you deaf? I'll blow your head off." Time freezes. Imagine being inside Bruce Lee's mind. He feels the pressure of the steel. He sees the desperate rage in the robber's eyes. Most people would feel a surge of primal fear. But Bruce Lee's mind, honed by years of training, allegedly goes to a different place, an empty place. This is the core of his philosophy. Be water, my friend. Water doesn't meet force with force, it flows, it adapts. A mind cluttered with fear can't be water, so he empties his mind, becoming a mirror. He's not thinking about fighting or dying. He is simply aware. He is practicing what Jeet Kune Do calls the art of fighting without fighting. His response is the stuff of legend. He doesn't plead or cower. Instead, he calmly lifts his wrist, glances at his watch, and says, "I'm waiting for my turn." That sentence is a weapon. It's a psychological bomb. The robber has a script. He's the monster. The hostage is terrified. Bruce's response completely shatters that script. It's absurd. It's completely unexpected. And in the microsecond of confusion it creates, the balance of power begins to shift. This is interception. Not just intercepting a punch, but intercepting an opponent's entire thought process. The shotgun is still at his head, but Bruce has already landed the first decisive blow without moving a muscle. The robber's confusion lasts only a second before it boils back into rage. He makes his fatal mistake. He decides to use force to get back control, maybe swinging the gun like a club. In that instant, the storm is unleashed. The entire physical fight is said to have lasted less than 3 minutes. First, the leader. Bruce doesn't grab for the gun. That's a contest of strength. Instead, as the gunman moves, Bruce explodes with economical motion. The legend describes a left palm strike, not at the man, but at the shotgun itself, knocking the barrel harmlessly toward the ceiling. At the same time, his right hand snakes out, twisting the man's trigger hand in a compound wrist lock. It's one fluid, devastatingly fast motion. The leader is disarmed and his wrist shattered before his brain can process the pain. He screams and collapses, threat one neutralized. The other 2 robbers, seeing their leader fall, are stunned. This is the window. As the second man charges, Bruce intercepts him with a classic JKD stop kick to the knee. A sickening crack, and the second man is on the floor, screaming. The third robber tries to flank him. Bruce is already moving, closing the distance. His hands become a blur of trapping, deflecting, and striking in the same motion. A series of rapid-fire strikes to the throat and eyes ends the threat instantly. Direct, efficient, brutal, the third man slumps to the ground. Now only the 4th robber is left, staring at the man who just dismantled his crew in seconds. Fear has replaced his aggression. He hesitates, and that hesitation is all Bruce needs. He closes the distance and it's over with a swift takedown. The key to the legend is this: Bruce never picks up their guns, and he leaves them all alive, though severely injured. This demonstrates the ultimate mastery, not just the power to destroy, but the control to use only the necessary amount of force to stop the threat. Just as quickly as it began, it's over. The bank is filled with the groans of the downed robbers and the soft sobs of relieved hostages. Then, a stunned, deafening silence. 4 men are writhing on the floor, 4 guns lie scattered and useless. 14 hostages are slowly picking themselves up, their faces a mixture of terror and disbelief. They've just witnessed the impossible. The wail of sirens grows louder. Police burst in, weapons drawn, expecting a bloodbath. Instead, they find the robbers already neutralized and a single man standing calmly in the middle of it all. The police captain, bewildered, approaches Bruce. "What happened here?" Bruce, without a trace of ego, calmly explains, "There was an armed robbery. They threatened the hostages. I disarmed them." Then, as police secure the scene, Bruce does the most legendary thing of all. He walks over to the teller window where a shell-shocked employee is standing, places his deposit slip on the counter, and completes his transaction. Business finished, he turns to leave. As he walks toward the exit, the hostages, who had been huddled together, begin to stand. One person starts to clap, then another. Soon, the entire bank is filled with applause. Bruce, the story goes, offers a slight, humble bow. "You're safe, that's what matters." As he walks out the door, he reportedly gives the stunned police captain a final nod and says, "Have a good weekend." It's an absolutely incredible story, a perfect hero, impossible odds, a flawless victory, and that's exactly what it probably is, a story. After that cinematic finale, we have to come back to reality. As we said, there is zero verifiable evidence this ever happened. Searches of Hong Kong crime archives show nothing. Bruce Lee's wife, Linda, and his closest students have never mentioned it. The Mid-City Bank doesn't seem to have a commemorative plaque. This story is almost certainly a product of the internet, a piece of modern folklore that's been polished and dramatized over time. It's a powerful narrative, but it's one without a factual foundation. So if it never happened, why is this story so important? Why does it get told with such conviction? Because the legend reveals a fundamental truth about Bruce Lee's philosophy. The event may be fiction, but the principles behind the actions are 100% pure Bruce Lee. The story is a parable for Jeet Kune Do. The real Bruce Lee was no stranger to violence. He'd been in street fights. He was obsessed with what asterisk actually worked in a life-or-death situation. He wrote and trained for scenarios exactly like this one: how to deal with armed attackers, how to use psychological warfare, how to intercept an opponent's intention. The legend of the bank robbery is the ultimate demonstration of being like water. It shows how to meet aggression with calm adaptability. It showcases the JKD principle of using the most direct tools to neutralize a threat. It highlights the supreme confidence that comes from thousands of hours of preparation. The story is so popular not because we think it happened, but because we believe he could asterisk have done it. Stories like this, fact or folklore, show how deep the legacy of Bruce Lee really runs. They're a testament to a man who truly became larger than life. If you want to dive deeper into the mind of the dragon, to separate fact from legend and understand the philosophy that drove him, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. In the end, the story of Bruce Lee at the Mid-City Bank isn't really about a fight. It's about control. It's about a man who achieved such a profound level of self-mastery that he could walk through fire and emerge untouched, all while protecting those around him. Whether a shotgun was ever actually pressed to his forehead doesn't matter. The legend is a metaphor for his entire life. He was constantly facing the barrels of racism and professional jealousy. And every time, he responded not with rage, but with a calm, unshakable confidence in his own philosophy, ultimately disarming his critics and changing the world. The bank robbery may be a myth, but the power of Bruce Lee, his revolutionary ideas, and his indomitable spirit are absolutely real. The legend is just a reflection of the blinding light he cast on the world. As Bruce himself said, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. And this story, true or not, is a hell of a testament to that focus.